You are listening to the Life in Alignment podcast, and this is your host and coach, Naphtali Anderson. And today's episode is called Stop Tripping, How Your Ego Keeps Men Stuck and How to Move Forward. So relax and enjoy the show. In all honesty, brothers, we really have to stop tripping. It's one problem that I've just seen a lot lately. It's been in a lot of conversations that I've had recently that we are just tripping over our ego. Right. First, I want to say that the ego is not the enemy. Right. We've been told that there's books about it. Evil ego, but the ego is not really the enemy. But I'm going to get more into exactly what it is later. But what I need to address right now is what I mean by tripping, right? What are we even talking about when I say stop tripping over the ego, right? The problem is men reject help, even though they need it and they know that they need it. But the problem is they think that they shouldn't need it. So when opportunities come for possible help and it falls right at their feet, they just step over it. And so instead of making progress, they trip over their ego and fall flat on their faces and just remain stuck, thinking that they should be able to figure it all out on their own, because that's what men do. I get it. I truly and honestly get it. I used to do the same thing all the time. The way I grew up, I didn't really have a lot of help around necessarily. I did most everything on my own. I figured out everything that I needed to on my own. There was not a lot of people to call on necessarily. So I learned if I want it done, if I need it done, I am the one that has to figure it out. And when you figure things out as a man, you feel good about yourself. You feel proud. You feel intelligent. You feel smart, if you don't like the word intelligent. You feel powerful. You feel capable. Right. So I truly get it. I get it. And there's different levels to this, right? I mean, for me at work, I could ask for help. I learned early on to ask for help. But my personal life, well, that was definitely us off limits. I didn't ask for help in my personal life. I didn't let people know what was going on in my personal life. You know, asking for help at work, that was also a tool to network, to communicate with people, to connect with people, because then I can help somebody else on something. And it was a way to grow my network inside of a corporate environment, which helped me to succeed in that space. Right. So asking for help and making other people feel valuable, right, that has its perks. Right. But when you say that you're struggling in something in your personal life, that's a whole different meaning. That's a whole different level of vulnerability. But I even had to reach out at some point, right? Well, I started paying a lot of money, a few thousand, okay, for mentors and coaches, to continue to become the person that I need to be to reach my goals, because I'm responsible for that. Even when I was going through a separation in my marriage, I had to become more vulnerable with select people, not with everybody, but with select people and mentors, because I needed an other perspective. I needed a different perspective to see how I was going to grow through this situation. But I talk to men that keep doing the same shit over and over and over again, thinking at some point they're going to make some shift that they're looking for. But I know it. They know it. They know that it won't. And they know that they're stuck, but they just can't admit it. They will not let their ego admit it. So again, what is this ego, right? If this ego is not this evil enemy thing that we've been taught by some teachers out there, it's not your enemy. Your ego is your creation. It's just a character that you and based on your experiences, what you've been around, the people that you grew up around, the ego you have personally designed. You decided how you will show up in this world. You went through different experiences and decided that this is good, this is bad. People like me when I do this, people don't like me when I do that. And you taught the ego this is how we have to show up in the world if we want to be liked, loved, accepted, succeed, whatever it may be. This is what a man is. This is who I am. That's your ego. It's trained and built by you. It is not your enemy, it is your creation. So when you're getting stuck, the only thing that you're protecting is your image, your ego, your creation. You're protecting this character that you created that isn't even serving you anymore. At some point, there were things in my life that were serving me, that were helping me to move forward, to make strides, to become better. But at a certain point, they became a hindrance more than anything else. They were no longer serving me, but you won't let it go if you end up too afraid of letting it go. If you're so used to it, if you're so used to being that lone wolf that you can't ask for help, even though you need the support, even though you're stuck, even though you've plateaued, even though you know that you have inside of you this huge shift, this huge goal that you're ready to accomplish, but you just can't seem to get there. You're still afraid to just let go of what you're used to and admit this is no longer serving me. You're too afraid to retrain your ego, to reshape it, to rebuild it into something that helps you excel today, right? It may have helped you a year ago. It may have helped you last month, but what about today? Because it's not about being a stronger man. It's not about being a tougher man. It has very little to do with strength when it really comes down to it. It has more to do with the fact that you are just miseducated about the topic, right? Different perspective right there. You don't have the perspective that empowers you in that situation. Because if you had the right perspective on the situation, you'd be making progress. There's a good chance you don't have the self image that conquers in that circumstance. And that's a huge part. A lot of people try to go on weight loss journeys, but they still see themselves as an overweight person. And what will happen every single time is they will gain the weight again. It's not because they're not strong. It's not because they're bad people. It's not because they're not necessarily resilient. It's just that they're living up to their own self-image. And if they have not shifted their self-image of who they are and how they see themselves, then they will never step into that new body that they want, and it won't ever stay there. Because when they see that healthy body in their mind, they're seeing a person that's not them. They have to shift who they see themselves as. Like, for example, I had a client who got sober during our coaching, right? But we didn't focus on making him stronger or more resilient. Oh, you got to have more willpower so you can make sure that you never get tempted. And if you get tempted, you got to be super strong. It's like, no, that's not how it works. Okay, we focus on the thought processes. We focus on the self-image. So he doesn't even identify with doing these things anymore. Like, he's been around the alcohol, he's been around all these things, and he doesn't get tempted because he doesn't even identify as that person that does those things anymore. So he doesn't have the urges pop up inside of him. It's a whole different ball game. But when it comes to changing how you think, when it comes to changing how you act, there's a 99% chance that you need an outside perspective. And, okay, and more importantly, the humility to accept the way that you may have been seeing things is probably wrong. Not many men like to admit that, to say, I was wrong. The way I'm doing it, the way that I'm going about it, the way I'm thinking about the situation, the way that I see things is not working. I need to do things differently. So look, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do right now. I can't help you to fix all of this on this podcast episode, right? It's a little deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than that, right? But here, this is what we're going to do. If you listen to some of my other podcasts, I've given you little tasks to do, little homeworks, right? So I'm going to give you another one today. Again, your ego isn't all bad, right? There's some good things that are there that are helping you. There's things that you've taught your ego to do that are still serving you right now. But you need to be clear on what is what, right? What parts are good, what parts are no longer serving you. And that's what it's about. I won't even call it bad. I'll say that it's just not serving you anymore. It's not helping you. So get a pencil, pen, paper, something to write on. Do it on your phone. I don't care. Write down all the things that you're currently thinking, right? That your ego is helping you do. The habitual thoughts, how you show up. What do you like about how you show up in the world? Okay, and even if it's a challenge to think of things that you like, at least find 5 things. Okay, then I want you to write down all the areas where you feel that you're stuck, right? Where you're tripping on your ego, that you find yourself in a constant cycle, just repeating the same old crap, and you just don't know why you keep repeating it. Okay, and then I want you to look at that list of stuff that you keep repeating. And I want you to go a little deeper on it. Okay, write down what kind of thinking might be keeping you stuck. What perspectives are not serving you anymore? How are you looking at the situation, right? That is just keeping you in this cycle. And then lastly, I want you to write down 5 resources that may be able to help you make a change. Okay, make a shift to that will question, right, your perspective and help you to be open to accepting a different perspective. Okay, this could be a coach, a podcast, a book, a mentor, whatever you can think of. Because the way that you're thinking, the way that you're staying in this loop is not helping. So you need something outside of yourself. So let go of the pride. Figure out at least one thing, right, out of those 5 resources now, and make a decision that you're going to take an action, some sort of action, whether it be today. If it's too late today, then maybe tomorrow. All right. But some action, some move that you're going to take towards making this shift. Whether you're going to get a book on a specific topic, whether you're going to listen to podcasts on a specific topic, whether you're going to focus on a certain mentor, whether you're going to talk to a coach and join a program. There's way too many things out there that are free, like free information freaking everywhere. Some of it is powerful. Some of it's trash. I'll be honest with you. Some of it is absolute trash. But you won't know how to decipher what is what until you start making a move on something. You have to decide to make a change. Then other things will line up for you. You'll find the resources. The teachers will pop up. You may even be connected to them already. The only thing I ask at this point is if this podcast, this episode resonated with you, okay, if what I'm sharing with you definitely resonated, then just leave me a rating and review on whatever platform that you're listening to. Show some love. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how this resonated with you. I want to hear from you because that's going to help me to provide more value to you. All right. And so, anyways, I'm out of here. This is your host and your coach, Naphtali Anderson. And I'm just wishing that all of you take this lesson, do something with it, and be blessed.